Hi everyone, it's Lisa here. I'm back with a video for you today and I'm really excited as this is my first video as a member of the Clearly Besotted design team. I was contacted a month or so ago and asked whether I would like to join the team, and of course I said yes. How could I not? So today I have a video for you sharing one of the smaller sets from the new release, and this is going to be available for purchase from the 1st of March at 8 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So today I'm going to be using the Spring Tulips set from the new release, plus I'm going to use a sentiment from one of the previously released stamp sets. I'm going to use the Happy Birthday from this set. And I'm going to be colouring with my Derwent Inktense pencils. I have the 36 tin and a few extra colours that I was given as a gift, and I have actually created a swatch of all the colours that I have, because that really does help when you're choosing what you want to use in your project, as it's quite hard to tell how they're going to look when you just look at them from the tin. So just to start off, I need to create a mask. There isn't a lot of masking in the project, but I do need to create one to enable me to stamp along the whole of the bottom of the card. So I'm using some masking paper and just some Memento Tuxedo black to stamp the mask, and then I'm just going to fussy cut that out. I don't actually cut the whole image because I don't need all of it. I just need that side of it in order for me to actually stamp along the bottom. So today I'm going to use the Misty to stamp the image. Because I'm using a watercolour cardstock, I want to make sure that I can double stamp if I need to. And I'm starting off by stamping the image on the right hand side of the cardstock, and I do have to double stamp it as there's a little bit that didn't stamp so well, so I was glad of the Misty at that point. And I'm just going to place the mask down, and then I'm moving the cardstock to a different part of the Misty just to allow me to stamp the rest of the images on the left hand side, so otherwise the edge of the Misty would get in the way. So that allows me to get it positioned perfectly. So I'm starting off by adding the colour into my first set of blooms, and I'm using the colour Fuchsia. I add this into 3 of the main tulip heads and 1 of the smaller ones, and you really don't need a lot. You just need to put a little bit into the areas, and then you just add some water and you blend it out. It's very simple watercolouring. I'm actually dabbing off a lot of the water before I bring it to the paper, and that allows me to make it lighter as I draw the colour up to a different area. So you get a deeper shade at the bottom and it gets blended out to sort of almost white in some places. All of the colours that I'm going to use in today's project are going to be listed over on my blog, so you might find that useful if you want to do a similar thing on your own project, but really you can pick any colours that you like. I just wanted to go with something that was very sort of spring and fresh. So now that I'm going to add in the yellow, and this is actually quite a bright yellow, it's cadmium yellow, so it's quite vibrant, and I do add a slightly darker colour into that on a subsequent layer. But for now I'm just putting the first layer of colour down. The same process as before, I add a bit into certain areas and then I add water onto my brush to draw it out. I'm starting on the leaves here, and as you can see I actually did put the wrong colour down on this leaf, but it's not really the end of the world. You can actually put a lot of water down on top and block most of that up, so I did manage to get away with it, and I'm going to add some other layers on top of it anyway, so you won't see the slightly bluish tinge to the first green that I put down. And I'm using a slightly different technique here. Instead of bringing my pencil to the paper, I'm actually taking a wet brush to the pencil nib and I'm picking up some of the colour from there and I'm bringing that down onto the actual project. And the reason that I'm doing that is because some of those areas are really, really small, and it's quite difficult to put the pencil in and then blend it out. So you can get a lot more control if you actually touch the nib with a wet brush and then you put the colour down into those areas. And I'm moving on now to the third colour, and this is the colour Mauve, and it's a deeper purple. And again, the same process, you add a little bit in and you just draw it out. So that's the basis for my project for today. And I'm going to put some music on now and just let you watch me colour the rest of the image. I'm just going to add a couple more layers into all of the flowers and some of the leaves, but rather than talk all the way through, I thought I would just put some music on so you can enjoy that. And that brings us almost to the end of the colouring, and I just wanted to mention that when I did my practice piece I used a blue pencil for the background, but I decided when I was filming that I wanted to have something that was a bit more vibrant, so I changed my mind and I went with the kind of apple green, and I really like how it turned out. So now I'm going to put the panel back into the MISTI and I'm going to stamp the sentiment, and I probably need to double stamp this. You don't always, but you never quite know if you're going to get a great impression, so I usually use my MISTI for the sentiment. I'm using VersaFine ONYX Black as I really do love that ink and it gives a very crisp finish. So I'm just running it through my die cutting machine using a stitched rectangle die, and I'm peeling the micropore tape off. I'm making sure to peel that slowly because you can rip the paper if you're not careful. I'm just going to add on some double-sided adhesive tape onto the back of my panel. I'm just going to adhere it to the base card, and the base card is created with the same watercolour paper. It's really hard to match the creams, so to avoid any difference in the colour of the panel and the base, I just created a base from the same cardstock. That pretty much finishes the card. I'm just going to add on a few sequins to give the card a bit of sparkle, and I adhere these using a wet adhesive. And I hope that you've enjoyed the video today and that it encourages you to give your watercolour pencils a try. I do really think that they're worth the effort and I really enjoy using mine. I probably just don't use them enough. So if you've enjoyed the video today, it would be lovely if you would subscribe to my channel and give it a thumbs up, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon.